Hello, here's my ECE Lab 5 hardware connections. So I'll go ahead and start this off. So currently I just have the MPU 650 being connected to the ESP Feather V2. It is connected via the Stemma QT table, and this is just held down with electrical tape to be able to get a more accurate representation of the gravity reading for the calibration. I'll go ahead and show you my hardware connections as well. So I first initialize with everything, including the configuration credentials, and then I'll move on to the global variables, including the motion and notification thresholds. Then, very similar to the last labs, I try to containerize everything nicely into functions. So for the first function, I have the hardware initialization, which initializes the NeoPixel and power pins, the connect Wi-Fi, which will connect to the local Wi-Fi network, the NeoPixel, which will dictate between red, green, and off, the calibration function, which will get it calibrated to that 0, 0, and then 9.8 axis. The ThingSpeak functionality itself, which will switch between arming and disarming. The triggering of the notifications will be sent to my phone from the board to ThingSpeak back to through IFTTT. The main execution functions, and the initialization sequence, including the 30-second timer that is flipping between modes. Finally, I have this while true statement, which is dictating when the board itself is actually armed. So I'll go ahead and start that initialization process for you. So as it is initializing, it is able to connect to the Wi-Fi, and the calibration is starting. It went ahead and started, and that z-axis is at gravity at that 8.61 number, and the system is ready and armed. So it is ready to be armed. I will go ahead and demonstrate. There is no glowing LED, and no matter how much I move it, no matter how much I move this or this, it is not going to be armed. So I'll go ahead and arm that for you. I did use more unique functions just so it wouldn't mess up my current Google Home setup, so I apologize for that. I used more hunger-based ones. So to activate this, the best way of doing this is, hey Google, activate the sensor is hungry. All right, I said the sensor is hungry, so it should go ahead and in the next 30 or so seconds start to activate when that sensor itself, and switch between those modes to that green armed state itself. And it just switched to that armed state itself. So the system is ready, and that last log with the voice is as the sensor is hungry. So the system is armed, so it should now be responding to movement, and we'll be able to flip into an armed state for that use case of a duffel bag at the gym. So I moved it. I was able to move the entire breadboard, and it was into that armed state. And I can go ahead and show you the notification itself on the phone. So for example, it was able to detect that motion. I could do it as many times as I want. It got moved again in that duffel bag, and there is the second IFTTT notification saying there's the motion detected and the X, Y, and Z axis on how it was moved. Finally, I will go ahead and demonstrate it a third time of actually moving the board itself. And there's a third example, and then there's the third notification for that motion actually being detected for the X, Y, and Z axis. I also have logging that is actually dictating between those modes, where the notification is set successfully and is able to send those notifications correctly. Finally, I will go ahead and demonstrate switching back itself to the unarmed state. So very similar to my full synonym. I will go ahead and deactivate it. So, hey Google, activate the sensor is full. It is loading. So in the next in the next 30 seconds, it will go to a disarm state and will stop the green LED. Once that happens, I can go ahead and demonstrate that even after you shake the board, once it is disarmed, it won't get triggered whatsoever. So it just got triggered. and said the sensor is full. This is what I just printed and is currently in the disarming stage. So now the board itself, now that it's in the disarm stage, it's not glowing anymore, and no matter how I move it, I'm not getting a green or LED indication. Same with no console log outputs, and there is no IFF IFF notifications. It's just those 3 that I sent earlier in the video. So yes, thank you so much, and here's my hardware, the notifications, and the software implementation itself. Thank you.